Get a job. That's how you get a motorcycle in 2024. Get you a job, and then go buy you a motorcycle. I mean, you can't buy a motorcycle without money. So you're gonna need to get you a job or start your own business or do something. You can't just go get a bike. I would also not recommend financing a bike. I financed this bike. I still don't recommend it. I think it was kind of stupid that I financed it, but you know, it is what it is. I financed it. I financed a lot of bikes. That doesn't mean I think it's smart. But if you can, pay cash for a bike. Interest rates are way too high right now. It's just ridiculous. I got a really, well, not great interest rate on this compared to what I used to get, but I got a pretty good interest rate for the time. But I would suggest not financing. Just get something cheap, especially if it's your first bike. Definitely get something to use and get something cheap, because you are going to drop it. Absolutely going to drop it. I mean, I've been riding for almost a decade, and I've dropped bikes. Almost all of them, except for my cruisers. I've dropped all my bikes but my cruisers. Things happen. I had a brand new R1 that I bought in 2017, I think. Which also reminds me, if you really gotta have a new bike, look for like a previous year model. If you get a previous year model, then they're more likely to cut you some deals. So if you can get some deals like that, like it's, you know, it's 2024 now. If you can find like a 2023 that's brand new still, that a dealership has left over that they never sold, you can probably get a pretty good deal on that. And that's what I did with my R1. Is I got a 2016 R1 in 2017, and I got a really good deal on it. Hey, is the Harley boys a waving at me? Man, I made a video about how I always forget stuff, and of course I forgot a really important part of what I need today, which is I forgot my book bag with my gym clothes and all that other stuff inside. Thank you for not hitting me. You're a lot bigger than I am. But yeah, if you can find like a previous year model bike and get you a discount on it, and even if it has a discount, try to talk them down a little bit more. Probably won't work, but hey, never hurts to try, you know. And especially if you can find one in like a small town in the middle of nowhere, you know, don't be afraid to look around in other places. You can find stuff in other states. Look for like small towns with previous year model bikes. You can probably find some great deals, you know, because not as many people are buying motorcycles in those little itty-bitty towns. Like when I got the deal on my R1, we lived in Mount Vernon, Illinois, and I bought it from a place that I can't remember how to pronounce the names. It has a very confusing name. But I bought it from this place in Nashville, Illinois. Not Nashville, Tennessee, but Nashville, Illinois, which is like a small town surrounded by nothing. So like they always had crazy good deals. Granted, this was also back in 2017, where you just generally got deals on everything. You know, before the whole 2020 chip shortage, whatever, you could still get some good deals. I mean, for example, I bought a 2020 Scat Pack brand new, and I got like $4,000 or $5,000 off MSRP, maybe more than that. I don't really remember what the MSRP was, but I do remember I only paid like $37,000 for it, and then I sold it for $45,000 in 2021. All right, anyway, now I have on my gym clothes. So man, I just posted a video talking about how forgetful I am. I already mentioned that, but just goes to prove it that nothing's changed. It's only been a week, of course nothing's changed, and nothing probably will change. I can't help that, it's just how I am. But yeah, I've had a couple of guys at the account that I work at who like load up the trailers and everything, and they ask, or one of them asked me, you know, about getting his first motorcycle, so that's kind of what prompted this whole thing. And this is essentially the advice I gave him, which, you know, be smart about it. Don't go out and buy a brand new bike. You're gonna drop it, and pay cash for it because interest rates are way too high. Also, this dude's like in his early 20s. The interest rate's gonna be wild if he tries to finance a bike. It's like, man, you know, he lives with his parents, so it's like, dude, just save up cash, go get something that's like 10 years old with low miles on it. You know, you're gonna get a good deal on something like that, or I mean, not necessarily like a good deal, but you know, you'll pay what it's worth, but it'll be significantly less than going out and buying a brand new bike. And of course, I told him, you know, I started on a 300, and I got bored with it after 2 months, and then he was like, should I just go to a 600? And I was like, no, not like a super sport, don't do that. Some people do it and they didn't die, so I mean, that's good, but you know, that's kind of a risky thing to just tell somebody to go get a super sport as their first bike. I would feel really bad if the dude wrecked the bike because it was too much power for him to handle. So I suggested get something kind of in the middle. If you want something that's a sport bike, Ninja 650. Perfect starter bike. You know, has enough power to where you won't get crazy bored with it after a month. And it's not overpowered though. Yeah, I definitely can't recommend anybody financing a bike today. In the future, maybe it'll be a little bit different, and you know, interest rates will come down, you know, but shoot, just 5 years ago I was financing bikes at 3% interest rate. You know, that makes a big difference. You know, I'm hearing about people that are paying 20% interest with halfway decent credit. You know, younger people. I have really good credit, so I was able to get a good credit rate for these, or interest rate for these times, but you know, I can't recommend that to someone who's, you know, 20 years old trying to buy their first bike. Things are just too expensive nowadays. I even bought these like earplugs that you know, cut out like wind noise and stuff like that, and I got them in right now. This is my first time wearing them. They're called like Alpine Moto Safe or something like that earplugs. They're like 20 bucks. Granted, those weren't the most expensive ones to choose from, but it sounds crazy to spend $20 on like silicone earplugs. One thing I will say is they are really good. Like, I was going down the interstate and it blocked out like all of the wind. Actually, no, it didn't. That's a lie. It blocked out most of the wind, but I could hear my music going like 85 crystal clear, because you know, they're made to like block out wind, and but you can still hear like your music and stuff. I cannot wait for my exhaust to get here. It's an Austin Racing exhaust, so it'll be awesome. Oh, and also, I am back to work this week. I'm finally off disability. I mean, I guess it was only a month, so I guess it's not like too terribly long. There's people who are on disability for much longer than that, but finally off disability. Went back to work last week, so kind of good to be back, I guess. It's good to be making money again, I should say. I will say though, after a month of not driving a semi, man, those things feel so big when you get in them and start driving them. You know, you get used to them when you drive them, and you kind of forget how large those trucks are. And then when you're like out of it for a little bit, and then you go back into it, it's like, man, those trucks feel monstrous. I got into that thing. I was kind of like, holy crap. I can't believe I freaking drive this for a living. Like, this thing is massive. But yeah, I would definitely say if you're going to get yourself a motorcycle in 2024, go used. Try to find something, I think, try to find something that has been around for a long time. For example, my next bike I'm kind of looking to get, because me and my wife want something that we can both ride on together. Yeah, she has her own bike. She's got a little Honda Rebel 500, but she also likes to just ride on the back as well. So I'm looking to get a Suzuki Boulevard 109R, 108R, whatever it's called. The big boy one with the big fat tire and the 1800 something cc motor in it. I'm looking to get one of those. I think they're cool. I think they look cool. I think they sound cool. For a cruiser, they're very fast. Now compared to like this bike, they're not that fast. But for a cruiser, they're very fast. Man, this wind is literally blowing me sideways. It is so windy today. I'm looking at like probably a 2014 maybe, because I think that was when they came out with the ones that are all blacked out engines and, you know, blacked out exhausts. But I'm of course going to go with like an aftermarket exhaust. Man, look at this. I got to lean the other way that my bike is leaning just because of the freaking wind when I'm not using my hands. So I'm looking to get one of those, and I'm looking at like a 10-year-old because I'm seeing them go for, you know, with lower miles, I'm seeing them go for like $8,000. Just pay cash for that. And from what I've noticed, the other thing to also look out for is look for old enough ones to where kind of the price is already bottomed out. It's not going to go a whole lot lower unless you put like 100,000 miles on it. You know, that's a different story. But for the most part, even the ones from like, you know, it's 2006, 2007 are also going for around $8,000. So like 7-8 grand is where they kind of sort of bottom out right now. So I'm looking for one around $8,000. Now, I'm looking after we get into the house, you know, to get one. I'm not going to get one before we get this house. But after we get moved in, maybe next summer, I'm going to look for one. I don't want to spend any more than about, you know, $8,500. And I think that's pretty reasonable. I can pay cash for it. And just have a good cruiser that I'm not going to worry about the value. Like if I ever need to get rid of it for any reason, the nice thing is it'll be paid off. That'll be a really nice thing. So it'll be paid off, so there won't be a loan against it that they'll have to work out. I can just bring in the title. That's another reason why you should also pay cash. Because if something comes up where you need the money, you just got title in hand, you sell it. It's easier to sell with title in hand because you can sell it privately a lot easier. You know, someone can just come with cash and pay you and you sign the title over right there. When you have a loan against it, it kind of complicates things, and then it becomes easier to only sell it to a dealership. And of course, a dealership, they're going to give you trade-in value for it, so you're just going to get less money. But yeah, look for something that's kind of already sort of bottomed out, and something that's like 10 years old, maybe less, maybe more, who knows. Each bike is a little bit different. And pay cash. Ooh, for sale. I want it, but I don't have anywhere to ride something like that, or drive something like that. Man, these earplugs make a massive difference. It does sound kind of weird though when I'm talking, because my voice sounds all muffled, and so that sounds a little strange. But man, these earplugs make a huge difference on wind noise. I mean, you could still hear the wind, but it's not even close to as much as you do without these earplugs. I'll have to throw a picture of what the box looks like on screen, because these things are really good. And also, you can still like hear your music. which is the best part. I bet from watching my videos, everyone probably thinks I just live in like a small town in the middle of freaking nowhere. And I kind of don't. Kind of do and I kind of don't. I live just, you know, outside of Dayton, Ohio, so it's not really like it's that crazy outside of a city. You know, I can be in a city in 20 minutes, but it seems like all of my footage is just like this. It is a bunch of cornfields in the middle of nowhere, because it mostly is. It makes for a nicer drive. I like driving out here. We got horse farms like that one over there, another horse farm up here. It's just a nice drive, or in this case, a nice ride. Y'all take care of yourselves. Kay, love you. Bye-bye.